Line Fever. Welcome to White Line Fever Live. And you know what the people on YouTube do? They point at the bottom of the screen and they say like and subscribe. I'm coming to you from Manchester, where I believe there's going to be a snowstorm tomorrow. So I could be stranded in this hotel room for longer than I planned. And also, if you're listening on the podcast, welcome back for the second time on the program. And today we're introducing him as being from Revolution Saints. It's Jeff Pilson. Hello, Jeff. How are you?
Great. Good to see you.
Thanks for doing it. Thanks for having a chat. Obviously, busy time in your world with, as we're speaking, for those of you watching on a replay, this won't make sense. But as we're speaking, I think it's a couple of days till the Revolution Saints album is out. Is that right?
February 9th.
Yep.
So, yeah. When is that? That's Friday.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, so end of the week. And this is, I heard an interview where you basically said it's you're the bass player on this album, and that's the extent of your involvement, which is that refreshing?
Oh, very, very. Yeah. It's really nice because I do a lot of projects where I produce and I play as well. But when you're producing, there's a lot more involved. When you get to just play bass, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Now can you? I mean, people skirt around this, but how does this project particularly, and how do these projects work? Because I saw, Jack Russell and Tracy Guns have just done an album together, and the songs arrived, in their mailboxes already written. I guess there are various degrees of that. How does it work in this case?
Well, if you mean Revolution Saints,
yeah.
Basically, well, with Revolution Saints, the band was already there before Joel and I joined on the last record, and the theme of the band is really about Dean's voice and really featuring Dean's voice in the way that it needs to be heard. So the music, so far, most of the music has been written by Alessandro Del Vecchio, who's the producer of the project, and he's a great singer, songwriter, performer on his own as well. But he has for the last two records, all the material was in place before Joel and I even joined. So when we came on, we did the material that Alessandro had. Now we're talking about for the next record, hopefully Dean and Joel and I can get together somewhere, make some noise and jam ourselves, the three of us, and do some writing that way. I've already submitted a couple songs for the next one. So Alessandro wants to open up the writing to the band members for the next one. So we'll see how much of that is involved, because we don't want to lose the sound of the band. The sound of the band, I think it really does do a great job of featuring featuring Dean's voice. So we don't want to alter that, but we'd love to bring the band in and have, a little band input on the next one. So I think that'd be kind of cool. But all these projects work different. It all depends.
So driving across here today from Hull, I was listening to Eddie Trunk and his interview with Dean Castronovo, who I guess we should have introduced all the characters before we got into the story for the listeners and viewers, but they can Google it. But Dean Castronovo, and it was quite a harrowing interview. I don't know if you heard it, but he talked about his arrest for domestic abuse. He talked about going to jail for 5 days. He talked about using cocaine, crack, and meth. And he talked about how grateful he was to have a second chance, to be allowed back into a journey, and how much he appreciates the opportunity to as I said, have another shot as his bandmate in this project. And I listened to the record again, having heard the interview, listening for lyrical clues for that, about that ordeal. I couldn't sort of detect anything that was obvious. But as his bandmate, I mean, how aware were you of that? Is that?
Oh, I'm aware of what's going on. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Dean. I really do. And I too am an addict. I was a really bad drug addict and alcoholic. I've been sober for many years, and I've been fortunate for that. But as an addict, I certainly relate to what he went through, and I get it. I'm proud of him for what he's accomplished. And I, too, am glad he's having a second chance, because I think he's thriving. I think his singing is just at the peak. And I'm excited for Dean, because I think this project does a great job of demonstrating what he's capable of.
Do you hear references to his ordeal in these songs or in the lyrics?
No,
or not?
not really. No,
No.
I mean, Alessandro writes most of those. I think most of it is a lot of it is love song kind of stuff,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
great material for a rock band. No, but maybe the next record that could come in a little bit. I mean, I don't think we ever want to get too edgy with our lyrics, if you know what I mean. I mean, great lyrics are one thing, but when you get a little bit edgy, it almost takes away from the beauty of the music if you don't do it right. So that's it's a little fuzzy for me to explain that,
Yeah.
but again, there is a sound to the band, and we all love it, and a lot of it has to do with Alessandro's music. So
Mhm.
altering that too much is going to be tricky. I mean, again, I think it's great that Joel and I really do appreciate the sound, because if we add, we're aware of what the sound is, and we're only trying to enhance it. So I'm hoping we get to that, and maybe lyrically we can cover some deeper spaces. But again, I don't want to get too preachy, woe is me, I was a bad drug addict kind of stuff. Don't kind of want to stay away from that a little bit.
Because End Machine, some of the End Machine topics are edgy in sort of political way and social
Yes.
awareness and stuff.
There,
So
there's my there's my outlet
outlet.
for social aware and socially conscious lyrics. Yes.
So before we have a song, I don't know if you probably don't remember, but we use the audio in a podcast, so we're going to ask you to give us a song shortly. But what are the chances? I mean, Dean did say there was a chance of this of Revolution Saints playing live, and the host Eddie Trunk suggested, well, because you and Joel are going to have a bit less to do in future, means there's more of a chance of Revolution Saints playing live. So is that a fair assessment? Or
It is a fair assessment. I mean, listen, we would love to do it. Logistically, it's really hard to pull off, playing live, period. When you're a machine like Foreigner, you're designed for that. These things aren't really designed for that. So it is a big logistical challenge. But having said that, the desire is there. And yes, my schedule is going to open up a bit in 2025. So I'm hoping that there's time, because boy, would that be great. I can just imagine playing live with Dean and Joel. It would be really great.
okay. Welcome back to White Line Fever, second part of our interview with Jeff Pilson. Want to thank him for being with us. Now, Jeff, I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, YouTube interviews in preparation for this this interview, and I find it hard to believe that in 2024 we have a Van Halen soap opera in 2024, and we kind of have a Dokken soap opera too, because George and Don are promoting their records, and so there's the stuff about these guys took drugs, they didn't write any songs. If we had a better guitar player, or a different guitar player, we would have taken off more quickly. And I have seen some podcast interviewers kind of grill you a bit, on especially when they've interviewed one of the other guys.
What did you say? Riddle you?
No, grill, like
Grill
they
you.
go, this guy said this guy said that.
Oh, right.
But you're like the Switzerland it seems to me, as an outsider in the relationship. You're very calm and neutral. But I would say that some of this recent stuff may have even tested your kind of tolerance or patience or.
Well, I will say, I don't think it's cool. I mean, I'm an addict and an alcoholic, and have talked about it, and I don't stay anonymous with my alcoholism. I talk about it because I have no problem talking about it. So, if Don wants to refer to me as using drugs, it's fine. I don't mind. I think it's a little uncool to be referring to other people who, that was a long time ago. And I just think it's a nasty thing. And I think it's inappropriate to talk about stuff like that when people don't want to talk about it, or if that's not their thing. It's my thing to talk about it. It's not everybody's. So I think that's uncool. All the other crap. I mean, listen, is anybody really listening? Does anybody really care? I mean, seriously.
But I guess people
I read ridiculous stuff about, Don wrote everything and all. It was like, oh no, he didn't, and we know that, and I think most fans know that, and what people say. Maybe he wants to get some attention. I don't know. I mean, again. Is anybody listening? Does anybody care?
Well, I guess they care if it affects you putting out new music or doing anything together ever again. And so
right,
I guess the question is, does it? does it impact it? Because you
Well,
guys
I
seem to
mean,
have long, long, what's the word? Long fuses now. Your
yeah,
fuses have grown long, so
yeah,
you can
yeah, they have.
you put up with a lot. You know what I mean?
We do. And honestly, I mean, we've heard Don said horrible stuff in interviews many, many times before. George has said some pretty goofy things in interviews. Um, I mean, and that hasn't stopped us from getting together if the business calls for it. I just don't know if it will. I mean, again, I'm open to it. I would love to do one last Dokken record to just kind of put the apostrophe on the whole thing, and just kind of say, here we've done it. This is our body of work. I would love that. But it has to be right, and it has to be the right circumstances. And it's certainly not right now because Don is promoting his record. And if he needs to take jabs and do stuff to do that, I guess that's what he's doing. Again, it just rolls off my back. Some of it is so ridiculous that it's like, wow, I can't even give that any credence. But I doubt it. I don't see it happening for a while. Maybe in 2025, maybe Don will be done promoting his record, and maybe he'll want to do a record. I don't know. The other thing you have to consider is when Don does his own Dokken, he's everything. He owns everything. If we're involved, he has to share it. And I don't think he's crazy. I don't think, and think about it. It has to be 4 times as much to make sense for him to do it. And I don't know if we're worth 4 times as much as, with a Dokken reunion. So it's kind of up to that, kind of up to where his head is at. I mean, he and I have talked before about wanting to do a final record. And I think there's somewhere in Don's mind, he would love to do it. But again, it would be a challenge, and it would be difficult logistically now because Don lives in New Mexico. So I don't hold a lot of hope for it necessarily. Again, I'm very open to it if it were ever to happen, but perfectly fine if it doesn't.
You did say last time we spoke that you wanted to get more Dokken music into movies, and that the
I'd love
band's
that.
presence
That
in
would be
pop culture isn't what it should be.
Yeah.
Have you made progress on that? And can you
Well, I
do
don't.
it alone?
I mean, that's not really my thing. That would be from more like the publisher side and all that kind of thing. I don't have a lot of influence on that. So no is the short answer. But maybe the more I talk about it, somebody will get like, oh my God, for our new casino, let's use Just Got Lucky. I don't know, something like that. We'll see.
Okay, let's have another song there, Jeff. Thanks for your time again.
Great. Play Black Hole Extinction from the new M Machine record.
Is there a story behind it? It sounds a bit Greta Thunberg.
It is. Actually, yeah. It is. It is a story. It's a warning about where we're headed, but it's also there's a little underlying message of, but if we can get it together, maybe we can change it. This is a pretty dark song, but it's a great album opener, and it's the song that all 4 of us, well, actually, I haven't talked to Steve, but I know that Girish and George and I, this is our favorite song. So Black Hole Extinction from Quantum Phase, pretty cool song.
I'm Jeff, and when you dialed in here on Zoom, you reminded me of something I almost forgot to ask you because your ID says something about hot yoga. And I found
yoga.
it. Sorry?
Hot for yoga, yes.
Hot for yoga, and I found it in about the 64th paragraph of a story. I found it fascinating. You run yoga retreats. What's the story there?
Okay, well, the story is my wife has a yoga studio called Hot for Yoga, and I teach a virtual meditation class every week, even when I'm on the road. So if you're interested in the virtual meditation class, go to hotforyogascv.com, and there's details there about how to get on the virtual meditation class. But yes, we hold retreats, and we have a retreat coming up May 25th through June 1st in Costa Rica at an absolutely beautiful location. I mean, phenomenally beautiful. It's going to blow everybody's mind. And it's going to be a great week of yoga, excursions, swimming, fun, music, live music. It's going to be great. Really great food. The food is supposed to be amazing at this place. So I'm really looking forward to that May 25th through June 1st. So come and check it out. You can also find out about that at hotforyogascv.com.
Do you get Dokken fans or bass nerds or gear nuts coming to your meditation?
I mean, yeah, I would say there's, longtime fans, maybe more than just Dokken, but yeah, it's a combination of that and people who are, looking for a meditative relief.
Yeah, yep. Serenity, serenity. And now,
Yeah.
the um, you see the T-shirt I'm wearing, and when will this night come for Foreigner? Will it come ever? The end of the road, and I guess was this the end of the road? But what's the story?
Well, the story is that this is our last 2024 is the last year where we're doing those 9 months of the year on the road stuff. So this is the last time we're doing that. Anything after this year, it's going to be much more selective and condensed time spaces. It won't be a full-on tour like what we've been doing. So like I say, this is the last year of that. So we're going for it this year. We're doing the Styx and John Waite tour this summer. And we're just playing I start March 1st and we're out until Thanksgiving, which, you don't have Thanksgiving. Sorry, middle of November. And so, yeah, this is it, but it's not going to be the end of the road though. There will be a Foreigner after 2024. It's just going to be not touring the way we've been touring.
Yeah, yeah. So will the last tour show be a big deal? Like, will you make a big deal to have more former members up, or will it just be? Yeah, you don't know.
You know what? I honestly can't answer that question because I don't know. We don't know when the end is yet. We don't have that in mind. So, I mean, I think we'd like to make a big deal of it. I know we're going to do something very special for our 50th anniversary. So, but that's a couple years away, but I know we're going to do that. So, there's great things coming. But gonna have to stay tuned because, like you say, I don't even know.
You never went to Australia with Dokken, but you went with Foreigner. Have you been with other projects or just
No,
Foreigner?
only Foreigner.
And just once or twice or twice?
Twice.
Twice.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you enjoy your time there? Did you
Love
visit Bon
Australia.
Scott's grave or anything?
I could live in Australia. I love that country. As crazy as the world is getting, sounds like it might be a good place to be away from everything else. But yeah, I loved Australia. Love it. Absolutely love it. I think it's great. And I know we're trying to get Foreigner to go back there, and I hope that happens.
Yeah, one last time. I guess it will be if you're not touring anymore.
Yeah.
And Black Swan, and also a project with Craig Goldie. I heard you talking about. So, what's happening with those two things?
All right, so with Black Swan, last week, Reb Beach was here for a whole week, and we got the first 7 songs for the next Black Swan record going. So very excited about that. Really had a productive week with Reb. So again, that's started. Gonna get the music to Robin McCauley and see what starts happening with it. So Black Swan, there's gonna be a new record probably in 2025. The project with Craig Goldie is I'm really excited about that. I'm working on that a lot right now, these next couple of weeks before I head out on the road. It was music that we did 30 years ago. And we recorded 4, it's very prog rock. I mean, I'm talking prog, yes, King Crimson, all that stuff, but with heavy guitars. And Craig is just on fire in this stuff. I mean, you really got to hear it. It's amazing. Scott Warren, the keyboard player from Dio, he's also in it. And then the drummer's a guy by the name of Tim Pedersen, who's been my dear friend for over 50 years. And amazing prog drummer, and he's just phenomenal on this stuff. It's really, really cool. So we recorded 4 songs, and then we recorded this epic. It's a 17-minute epic, like all prog bands have to have. But we never put real drums on it, and I'm doing that right now. We've been doing that the last couple days, and going to be doing that into next week. It's really fun. It's very challenging, but it's very, very fun. So my hope is that by the end of the year, we get the music out there so people can hear it. It's a whole different animal than what they're used to from me, but it's really, really cool. And I'm very excited about it. And I just want people to hear it.
What's it called?
Right now it's called The 13th Floor.
The 13th Floor. And the only new recordings on it are the drums. Is that right?
The only new recording so far is the drums. I mean, there are a couple other songs that are there that could use drums, and then I've written some that I wouldn't mind recording, but we're going to start off with putting out the 4 songs in the Epic, and that's going to be the first record. And yeah, all that needs to be done on the Epic is the drums
And you got a record
and mixing it. You know, got to mix it and make it sound good.
Yeah. And who's going to put it out? And is you got
I have no idea. Haven't even crossed that bridge yet. I want to get it further along, and I don't want the pressure yet of a deadline because we got to get it right. So again, if it comes out sometime or like early 25, I'd be very excited.
Have you already imagined a 17-minute music video on YouTube with the 4 of you in it or 5?
Well, I would love to do videos of a lot of this stuff because you talk about relevance. I mean, we're talking about some. What's amazing is that some of the stuff that we're talking about in this that was written 30 years ago still really applies today. So kind of excited about that.
Yep.